Hello, my name is Kevin Bivens, and today I'm going to talk to you about inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning generates new questions, calls to ask questions, create hypotheses, investigate, construct new knowledge, discuss and reflect on discoveries, and apply newly acquired knowledge in one's own life. The first question we have is, what is the student's role in inquiry-based learning? Students accept an invitation to the learning process. This is a step up from the traditional learning process. And this leads to students using critical thinking skills. In a traditional process, a student is forced to keep to themselves unless called upon, usually. Inquiry-based learning requires students to be fully engaged, therefore they use more skills and more brain power. Students plan and engage in learning activities. They have more hands-on work and they work socially within the classroom instead of just sitting at a desk listening to your traditional lectures. Students communicate using a variety of different methods. And the assignment that goes along with this one, where we had to look up another lesson plan, the students were taught how to use email within the classroom to contact politicians. Students critique their own learning practices. Next question. What is the teacher's role in inquiry-based learning? The teacher acts as a facilitator. They watch over the students. The students are given the material from the teacher and then they just take off with it from there, learning from each other's opinions and also asking the teachers a question when they need to figure out something usually. The focus is on relevant and applicable outcomes. These are focused on real life situations. I've heard many students say, why do I have to learn this? When am I going to use this in real life? But in these types of lessons in the inquiry-based learning, everything applies. So a student will get a little bit from the traditional side because they will still have a mentor like a teacher, but they will also have hands-on situations so they know how to deal with in the future. The students ask questions that encourage divergent thinking to themselves, and also the teacher gives the main questions within the curriculum. This can bring both sides of an opinion to the table. The teacher plans ways for each learner to be actively engaged in the learning process. Every student learns differently, so they could watch over the students and usually see their best, I'd say, skills for learning to know exactly how to do certain scenarios. Stress skills developed with models. The next question is, what does research say about student achievements success when using inquiry-based learning? There's an increase in student creativity, independence, problem-solving skills, and it also improves student achievement. The students exhibit a larger retention of knowledge. If the student practices the hands-on material, the information will embed in their brains and they'll know how to apply it to their lives later on down the road. It's not like memorizing material, which you'll memorize it and usually go in and then forget it after the class is over, which I am a victim of that. Superior conceptual understanding. And the benefit for students is the development of abilities that are crucial for the learners. This is something that traditional classrooms don't take into account. They teach from the book, by the book, and nothing really past that. So they're just passed on from grade to grade, learning the curriculum for the next class, but not understanding what really matters in your life. Question number 4. What are the best practices associated with inquiry-based learning? The focus is on using information processing skills and applying the discipline ground rules, knowing the do's and don'ts of the teaching methods and what would be best for your students. Put the learner at the center of an active learning process. The learners or the students they play the main roles in the classroom. You could say they are over the classroom with the facilitator, that's the teacher of course, but like I said earlier, they take the material and they run with it, and they all learn from each other and learn from their own events and their own research that they do. The teacher becomes one of facilitating the learning process, like I just mentioned. And what is assessed is valued. All information is applicable, and it will be very important and beneficial for the students later on. Classroom management. As mentioned earlier, the classrooms are more social. Therefore, the students aren't just sitting there in the desk looking at the center of the room. They are up and around doing hands-on materials with each other, say in groups, or they're answering their own questions individually and then comparing them with their partners. A lot of peer interaction or social interaction. What are the steps involved in using inquiry-based learning in the classroom? The first step is learning the objectives and the expected outcome. Next is habits of mind and ground rules are being emphasized. The main points are being brought out by the teacher, so the students know what to look for, and then those are broken down into subpoints to give justice to the main points. The conceptual theme that is most important to the lesson, that would be your subject, and then you would have the points that would back up the subject with more information that the students will be gathering throughout the class. Having specific content related to the material. Sources and resources needed are made available, such as internet or hard copied books. There are potential roadblocks to learning if the inquiry-based learning process is not done right, and if the teacher does not give 100% to what they are committed to. This could harm the students because they wouldn't be getting the full effect. They would only be getting maybe not even half of it. There is an ongoing assessment within the classroom. It's not like you'll have the material, go over it, memorize it, and then just take an exam and forget about it and move on to the next. It's constantly building on itself. Inquiry attributes are already possessed by the learners. They just need to be used, and the students need to know that they exist. Professional preparation. I've said many times throughout this video that the knowledge that these students gather will benefit their lives and will be applicable, unlike much of the information that's given to us and the students now. Plans to help advanced learners become facilitators for learners needing additional help. And that is all. Thank you for watching.